Hey guys.
Hey, Shane. Shane, it's been. I mean, you won the Zurich with Rory last year, but individually, it's been a couple of years since you've won. What have you learned about yourself as you've continually put yourself in contention and knocked on the door?
I just think you need to be persistent. You need to keep putting yourself there, and eventually it'll happen. I think you need to look at Rory at the Masters a few weeks ago. Keep knocking on that door, and eventually you'll go through it. So I feel like I've done a good job of that this season. Last season, it does get frustrating sometimes, but I'm in the final group tomorrow. I've played pretty good golf this year. I'm pretty happy with the way I'm playing this week, and I'm going to go out and give my best. And if it's good enough tomorrow, it'll be great.
Obviously, three totally different scoring days between Thursday, Friday, and today. What have you learned about this golf course with three totally different conditions?
Yeah. Look, it's great to see the way the conditions come in the way they did, and kind of the golf course is standing up really well. I think because the fairways are quite generous for us this week. I feel like the fairways are wide, and once you get the ball in the fairways, I feel like you're going to have some chances. But it was very tough today in those winds. It's particularly tough to hold putts. When you get inside 10 feet to be that precise on these greens was tough. So I think you just need to get the ball in the fairway as your first goal. It doesn't matter how far it goes. Once you're in the fairway, I think you can really get after this golf course.
Is there any hole that's changed day to day, like extremely? You hit different.
No, like I think 1 and 2 today was a good example. Like you had no choice but to hit driver down the first two. It was like one of those where I feel like it was a day where you need to get the ball as close to the green as you could, whenever you could, and work from there. And that's the way I played the course today. I felt like I played quite, conservative but aggressive on the knee and I felt like I did a good job.
Shane, you said a couple of times now that you've played well this year. You're in the final group tomorrow. Have you approached this season differently? Is there a mentality shift? What's fired you to?
No, I feel like I've been like this for the past couple of years, like year and a half anyway, since sort of Ryder Cup in Rome. I feel like I've kicked on a little bit and I've been quite, mature. I've worked hard though. Like I've put a lot into it the last 2 years. My whole career, but particularly the last 2 years, I've worked very hard, and starting to see some rewards is good. Obviously, you won trophies, and that's going to be my number one goal tomorrow. But if it happens tomorrow, it'll be great. If it doesn't, I'll dust myself off and I'll go to Quail Hollow and try my best there. But one thing's for sure, I'll give my best.
What's going to be the key tomorrow to kind of calming your mind and steadying yourself in the cauldron?
I think just allowing myself to be myself and play my game. I think if I allow myself to be me tomorrow, I can achieve what I want to achieve. But it's a funny old game. There's obviously some of the best players in the world not too far behind us. So give my best.
Shane, Keith mentioned that the greens were completely different speed today versus yesterday. Is that how you saw it too, and how did you feel them out as your round went on?
Yeah, they were a lot quicker today. They got, especially towards the end. I felt like we had a few putts where you're hitting them at die pace, which was not the case the first few days. The first few days I felt like they were quite slow. But as the week's gone on, they've gotten quite quick. And obviously, we were the last group today, so they were a little bit chewed up towards the end. But that's what you get. And but I thought I dealt with it pretty well.
Thanks, Shane.
Cool.
Thank you, Shane.